Welcome back to the channel, my fellow keep pounding brothers and sisters. It is an absolute roller coaster ride for us here in Carolina as we navigate this high-stakes offseason, and I need you all to be part of this journey. Before we dive into the latest bombshells surrounding our roster, I want to know exactly who is watching and where you are representing the Panthers faithful from. Please, take a quick second right now to drop a comment below with your name, your city, and your country so we can see how far our influence truly reaches. We are pushing hard toward our goal of 3,000 subscribers, so if you love this team, make sure you are locked in with us today. The player at the center of this developing storm is none other than wide receiver Xavier Legette, whose future in Charlotte is becoming increasingly uncertain as internal discussions heat up. Sources indicate that Xavier Legette could be heading to the New England Patriots if the current trade rumors involving the Philadelphia Eagles and A.J. Brown fail to materialize into a concrete deal. This is the reality of a rebuild. Sometimes you have to cut your losses to clear a path for fresh talent, and that is exactly what the front office is evaluating right now. We have watched Legette struggle to find his footing for 2 full seasons, and the consensus among the coaching staff is that he has unfortunately become one of the least productive receivers in the entire NFL during his tenure. It is a tough pill to swallow for us as fans who expected so much more from his athleticism, but the business side of the league waits for no one. The internal belief is that he is simply not cementing himself as a viable WR3 in this offensive scheme, which makes his departure look more like an inevitability than a mere possibility. We are looking at a scenario where the team is ready to move on, potentially clearing his spot for guys like Chris Brazell II, John Mechie III, or even Jimmy Horn Jr., all of whom are hungry to usurp his role during the upcoming training camp battles. The writing appears to be on the wall, and while we always want our guys to succeed, the cold, hard data suggests that Legette is fighting an uphill battle just to remain relevant within the Carolina roster. If he does not show drastic improvement immediately, the front office is clearly prepared to pull the trigger on a transaction that gives both the team and the player a much-needed fresh start elsewhere in the league. When we analyze the connection between Carolina and the New England Patriots, the logic actually starts to make a lot of sense for both parties involved. New England is desperate to surround their young quarterback, Drake May, with legitimate weapons, and while A.J. Brown is their primary target, the uncertainty surrounding that massive potential trade leaves a gap that we could easily fill. We know that trade rumors can linger for months without ever crossing the finish line, and if the Eagles decide not to part ways with their superstar, the Patriots will be left scrambling for alternatives to help their rookie signal caller. That is exactly where Xavier Legette enters the picture as a strategic fallback option for New England. He is not a superstar on the level of Brown, but he possesses the physical traits that scouts love. He is big, fast, and still on his rookie contract, which makes him a low-risk investment for a team trying to rebuild their passing attack. The financial flexibility of his current deal is a major selling point compared to the astronomical costs associated with bringing in a veteran wideout who commands elite money. For our Panthers, parting with him would signal a clear shift in philosophy under Dan Morgan, prioritizing efficiency and production over potential that has yet to manifest on the field. It is a calculated move that allows our front office to gather draft capital while cleaning up the depth chart. Watching a player leave is never easy, but if this move happens, it would be a direct result of the lack of progress we have witnessed through these past 2 seasons. The Patriots are looking for someone to develop alongside May, and if Legette can find his confidence in a different offensive system, maybe he can finally realize that potential that led us to draft him in the first place. The narrative surrounding this potential move is deeply rooted in the broader theme of our ongoing, painful, yet necessary roster reconstruction. We are in a phase where performance is the only currency that matters, and if a player is not producing at an acceptable level, the team must be willing to pivot rapidly to find better solutions. It is not necessarily an indictment on the player's character, but rather a reflection of the high standards that Dan Morgan is trying to instill within this locker room. We have seen time and time again that successful teams are built on the back of ruthless efficiency, and if the coaching staff feels that Chris Brazell II or John Mechie III can offer more value, then the change is mandatory. It is frustrating, yes, but it is also a sign that the front office is not content with mediocrity. They are actively looking to upgrade, regardless of the emotional attachment we might have to certain guys on the roster. Legette needs a new environment, a new quarterback, and a new perspective to reignite his professional career. And sometimes that only happens when you are traded away from the place where you first struggled. If he ends up in New England, he will be playing with a quarterback in Drake May who is looking for reliable targets, and that could be exactly what is needed to unlock his physical tools. Our goal here is clear. Build a winning culture, establish a consistent identity, and ensure that every single player wearing our colors is contributing to the collective success of the franchise. If Legette is not part of that winning equation, then trading him for a future draft pick is a move that objectively helps us reload for the future. We must embrace these changes, trust the process, and continue to keep pounding as we forge a new path toward respectability and success in the competitive landscape of the NFC South. The trade dynamics here are quite fascinating when you consider what the going rate for these types of moves looks like in the current NFL climate. Based on recent transactions involving players leaving the Panthers under the current regime, we are looking at a potential return of a future fourth-round pick. While that might sound modest to some, it is actually a standard valuation for a player who is struggling to find a consistent role and needs a change of scenery to save their career. By acquiring a pick, our front office creates more ammunition to move up in future drafts or add depth at positions where we are severely lacking. It is a classic move for a rebuilding squad, taking a flyer on a young player, seeing if they can develop, and if not, pivoting to get value before the asset completely loses its market interest. New England, on the other hand, gets a player they can plug and play without blowing their salary cap, allowing them to focus their financial resources on other critical areas of their roster. This is a win-win scenario that speaks to the cold, analytical side of the game that Adam Schefter often highlights. We cannot afford to hold on to players simply because we drafted them. We have to hold on to them because they help us win football games. If the trade with the Eagles for A.J. Brown stalls out, do not be surprised to see the Patriots pivot their attention toward our roster. It would be a major move for them and a clear signal that they are ready to try something different to spark their offense. We will be keeping a very close watch on this situation, and you can be certain that as soon as any movement happens, we will break it down right here. Stay tuned, stay informed, and most importantly, keep your eyes peeled on how this potential trade could redefine our offensive trajectory moving forward. As we look toward the future, the biggest takeaway from this situation is that no position is safe if the results are not matching the effort. The transition from our current state to a competitive team requires us to be objective about the personnel we have on the field every Sunday. Xavier Legette remains a young talent, but the window to prove himself in Carolina is closing rapidly, and the competition in the room is only getting stiffer. Whether he stays and fights for his spot or is ultimately dealt to the Patriots, the message from the organization is crystal clear. We are looking for players who can elevate our offense and help us win now. I know it is tough for us to see talent potentially depart, but this is the nature of the beast in the modern NFL. We have to trust that the decision-makers have a plan to replace that lost production and that they are prioritizing the long-term health of our team. Keep your heads up and remember that we are building something here, even if the progress feels slow at times. We need players who are fully committed to the vision and who can perform under pressure. If a trade happens, we will analyze the return, look at the impact on our draft capital, and continue to support the guys who are here to leave it all on the field. This is going to be an intense offseason, and I am glad you are all here to stick through it with me. We have a lot of work to do, but we are heading in the right direction, one move at a time. Let's keep this community growing, keep the comments coming, and stay ready for whatever news drops next. Keep pounding because that is what we do, and that is how we will eventually get back to where this franchise belongs. Thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you all in the very next video.